Yeah, I hear you.
All right, here we go. Welcome, regular board meeting. I'm going to call it to order at 6 o'clock. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Trustee Campion.
Here.
Trustee Hopkins.
Here.
Trustee Kulat.
Present.
Trustee Faber.
Here.
Trustee Komek.
Here.
And Trustee Gant.
Present.
All present tonight. Open meeting, this was posted on Friday afternoon.
Yes, I believe at 3:21 p.m.
Oh, thank you. Any change in the agenda sequence? Good. All right, we're going to open up the meeting tonight with a public hearing. And legal description is 2680, part of North 1/4 section 15, town 1, range 20 anyway, better known as 8548 Antioch Road here in Salem. Is there anyone here for or against the raise order? Yes, there's Doreen, right? Yes, that's Doreen. She's the property owner. How are you?
Fine. Will I get a chance to speak?
Yes, right now would be a great time.
Okay.
You can stand up and maybe so we can hear you well.
I contacted We Buy Houses.
Mhm.
He sent a contractor out at 2:30 today and told me I would hear back by tomorrow. And I haven't rented since 1992. And at that time, it was $400 for a 3-bedroom condo. So I was a little shocked. I've been looking for the last 2 weeks to find a place to rent. And without some assets from the property, the rents are between 50 and 60% of my Social Security. So I was hoping to sell, get whatever I can get,
Mhm.
so that I can move on and not become a homeless person.
And have you looked at anyone else other than We Buy Houses? You know that they're going to lowball you, and I don't care if I say that in public here.
When rent is 50 to 60%, any money I could have in the bank
Mhm.
would help me cover rent.
You are living in the house right now.
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments, Doreen? You want to ask Doreen a question?
I would like to. Ma'am, do you have running water in your house?
Yes.
Do you have a workable washroom?
Yes.
Do you have a kitchen that's functional?
No.
All right. How do you live in your house? How do you prepare meals? How do you wash?
I have, on a rolling cart, I have like a steamer, a coffee pot.
Okay. I don't mean to be rude or anything, but I remember that house from 14, 15 years ago. I sell real estate for a living. I remember 14, 15 years ago selling your neighbor's house. They were complaining about it then, and it hasn't gotten any better. From what I've been told, from everything we've seen here, the house is uninhabitable, it's unsafe, it's not sanitary. The fact that you're living there and you're up and walking surprises the hell out of me.
That's why I'm looking for an apartment.
I understand, but we've been dealing with this for a number of years. We took your garage down a number of years ago, as I recall.
Mhm.
Yes, after we had the assets until my husband's death,
Yeah.
and things went down from there.
I'm not a huge fan of taking people's properties or taking down a house or anything. I've been against it as long as I've been on the board, but there comes a time when we have to act and we have to look out for the good of the whole, the community and your neighbors. From what I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a person. I'd like to, but I haven't seen it. But I've been told it's almost unsafe to live in. And, whatever we do is going to be for your protection also.
Well, if I can, contractor that came by today, I told him I have a problem finding rent. He said the investor has many, many properties and he might be able to help me with that.
Okay, why did you wait till today, knowing full well we had our people out there?
I have enough money for the roof. And when I thought that would begin to solve the problems,
Okay, how
I
much,
was told when the inspectors and everything came over that that would not be enough.
how much is the roof?
I got estimates from anywhere from 14 to 28.
Okay,
28 was early in the year in May. And I decided to get more estimates to, because I knew the price of lumber and everything was high in May, extraordinary.
how much have you guys saved up for your roof?
For my roof, about 16,
16,000?
yes.
Oh, I hate to say this, but that to me sounds like enough to get you into an apartment or rental, wherever you need to go. And if there's,
It would run out.
I understand that, but what source of income do you have?
So security.
Social.
Okay. I don't need to know your numbers, but have you looked at any of the social agencies out of Kenosha? There's
Yes,
ones?
I contacted the Kenosha Aging and Disability place. And right now, they're not even taking applications to reduce your rent. I contacted the apartment behind Festival. I was told I could be put on a waiting list for senior rent. That's 12 to 14.
Yeah, unfortunately, at this time, there are all waiting lists because I've inquired in the local area for them. And they're all on a waiting list. Bill, did you have something?
Yeah, besides the roof, do you have heat in the house?
No, that's what I'm trying to get out. It's, my boiler works, but the circulator, the spring busted in there and wrapped around the propeller. And so if you turn on the boiler, it clicks on and then it slams shut as soon as it's supposed to hit that recirculator.
And what about the doors? Do they close tight?
Not the back doors, not on the back addition.
Doreen, have you talked to Sharon at the Sharing Center, Sharing Center?
No, I haven't. And
Because
as
I-
a matter of fact, I called a couple of attorneys to represent me in this matter, and one suggested you. And then I thought maybe that's a conflict of
I would-
interest.
Yeah,
No, we don't.
I don't do that kind of law anyway, but I know that, Sharon and the Sharing Center have helped people like get apartments and get relocated. So I'd strongly suggest that you call her, because I think,
Sharon at the,
yeah,
Sharing Center on Highway
on
C.
Highway C.
Sure,
Bill.
she's also a county rep,
It's also
not a
county
county
rep,
board.
because I know that they've helped people with vouchers and helping them locate housing and that kind of stuff. So I think that would be a resource. If you haven't checked into it yet, I think that'd be really good for you to do that. She might be able to help you.
Mike, do you have another suggestion other than we buy houses for her to like sell the house or before we raise it?
there's not going to be any open house there.
Right.
To be honest, I have not seen your home just based on all the information I've been giving. Nobody's gonna buy it.
It needs a roof and an
The silts and
investor may
stuff.
want the land because it's. a
It's
pretty big
worth the
lot.
property it sits on. And then if somebody were to buy it, they've got a demolition cost, which we will incur if we knock it down. But let's say, I mean, these round numbers, I'm not saying this much, but let's say it's worth $30,000, costs you $6,000, take it down, makes it net $24,000 what that property's worth. Please don't use my numbers but the house is worth nothing. The house is a negative asset. You're gonna spend money to knock it down. Nobody's gonna buy it.
Well, I think the investor might, for whatever purpose. And they have the resources that I don't have to do whatever they deem viable.
If
I was thinking I could buy a trailer if I just got a little money.
No, you said somebody came out today and spoke with you?
Yes, a contractor that works for this.
Well, I'm gonna say this with all the love in the world. If the house were worth anything, he'd have been on the phone with his boss and, hey, listen, come over here now. Give her $30,000 we can buy this house. I know how they work. I've worked with them in the past. They'd have been on the phone writing you an offer right that minute. And I would say they didn't, and they didn't for a reason. And I don't, there's no redeeming value in that structure of that house. The only value would be in the lot. And I'm sorry, but this has been going on a long time that I'm aware of.
It's actually the back third edition that's in really poor shape.
All right, you said something about closing it off.
So the house
Yeah,
could be rehabilitated.
I'm gonna look at my administrator. You were in it, not I, or you were by there.
no, she wouldn't let anybody in.
Never allowed us to get entry.
Oh, okay.
The exterior, there's a lot more to it.
Was there a reason that we couldn't get inside?
Well, yeah, I was embarrassed.
Okay, anyone else? Anyone else in the audience for or against this raise order? Well, with that, we're going to close the public hearing and then we're going to vote on it during after. Okay,
So,
you can sit down and we'll talk about it in a minute.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Citizens' comments. Kim, you're going to talk during that one thing. Is there another comment? Okay, I'll keep you for that. And how about Carrie? No? Okay. All right, with that, we'll close citizens' comments. Yes. Oh, yes, duh.
Yes.
She has some citizen comments that came to her online that would like to be read.
So I did receive this today. This is in regards to the raise order. Excuse me, this is from Colleen. I think it's Choypek. She resides at 8556 Antioch Road, Salem, Wisconsin, 53168. Good evening, Salem Lakes board members. I, Colleen Choypek, who resides next door, south of the property of 8548 Antioch Road, Salem, Wisconsin, would like to share my view on the subject of raising this property. I moved to Salem 13 years ago. I have lived next door to 8548 residents for 13 years. I know numerous individuals, including myself, have complained to the village throughout the years regarding the safety of this property and also health concerns. The structure has been neglected exterior. The roof has 5 holes for the last 3 years. A covering, which is not a tarp, has covered the main holes. West side of the home in the winter, with the accumulation of snow, I believe it's very unsafe. In the summer, I have noticed rats in the roof, attic area, southeast side running up the roof and into the attic that is also exposed. I did report to the health department. I'm sorry, this is handwritten. Rat was also seen back porch area in late July of 2021. There are numerous neglected construction concerns on the exterior. When the residence does open a window on the southwest side, mold can be smelled as it is that powerful. Owner Doreen Hardy fails the upkeep of the exterior and now the interior attic, and I am afraid of the wild creatures and of a fire. I have been restricted on my living due to her negligence. I cannot enjoy camping out in my backyard with my grandkids due to the rats, mice, and other wild animals that are living interior and exterior. She finally cut her grass on September 12th, backyard, and I have an abundance of garter snakes. I do not feel it is right. I should have to limit my living outdoors and also the other neighbors having to limit theirs because of the filth and negligence. The home's exterior is falling apart. I feel if you need additional proof to raise this home, please get a court order to enter her interior home, and you can proceed further with this matter. She has had no heat for 3+ years. This property will continue to be neglected as she has made no attempt in the 13 years. Citations will not solve this matter. The neighbors and I have a right to live in a safe and healthy environment, and Doreen Hardy has failed as a responsible homeowner. If any board members would like to view her backyard, you are welcome to view from my backyard. The unacceptable brush is awful, creates rats, mice, snakes, wildlife. This property is unsafe for all. Thank you, board members, for allowing my views. Sincerely, Colleen Joybeck.
Can I say something about her comments?
We don't want to go back and forth.
Right,
I
right.
mean,
Well, she's claiming rats. 10 years ago, she saw possums in the yard and said they were scaring the children. The children were 19 and 20 years old.
okay.
And about the rats, I've had cupcakes sitting on my mini fridge for a week. They've in the normal wrap you get at the plastic. If I had rats, they would have been on it.
Mhm. All right. And did you have another thing for Rock Lake, or that wasn't?
No, you did not request.
Oh, that's right.
Read out loud.
Okay. All right. That is it for citizens' comments. Now we're going to move into presentations, petitions, communication, other agency reports. Number 1, possible issuance of an order to raise a building on 8548 Antioch Road.
Motion to approve the raise order no earlier than 45 days from today.
I'll second that motion.
All right, Hopkins and Gant. The motion is to proceed with the raise order in 45 days, no less than 45 days. That will give you time to try to sell it.
Okay.
It's not a lot, but it's something.
About.
Move out, well, yeah, we wouldn't. If you-
Winter there, I did one.
No, we don't want you to do winter there either. All right, and Mr. Gant seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right,
Yeah.
45 days, we got to get you out of there.
So just so you're aware of what you just did, so now there will be a raise order against this property. It has to be fixed or removed in 45 days or we'll proceed.
I did notice that Kenosha County has it appraised at $178,900 for 2021. The land is $38,000, so hopefully you can get some value from somebody out of it.
And she has the opportunity to raise it yourself and save money too, right?
45 days will be moving. I mean, it'll take a lot longer.
Something quick.
Okay,
But she still has the option. You can either have it raised, okay, or we can have it raised,
Or I could sell it and they could raise it or
whoever.
whatever.
But even though if you sell it, when they check for the property, it's going to have a raise against it. So they'll still be under the 45 days if they buy it.
Correct, and we're gonna record something because we're required by statute, we're gonna record something in the register of deeds indicating that there's a.
so if
I
by,
already told the guy who came that there was a meeting.
okay, so technically, let's say she does decide to sell it to somebody, they have to either tear it down or they could come to us and ask for something if they own it too. Okay, I'm good with that then. We got to get you moving, Doreen.
I know.
Okay,
Doreen, contact Sharon though, from the Sharing Center. Seriously, contact Sharon.
Sharon and the
Sharing Center on see if,
Aaron Palmville.
Thing, those two start with the same.
I think I mean, she's helped a lot of people, I think, in similar situations. She'd probably really help you moving forward.
The only thing I helped out at the Sharing Center when it was in Pat Way for a time. And the only thing I knew they did was food.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. They help people with housing.
Give them a call. They're online
Also,
or,
please look up Sharon, okay? I think she can help you.
I would just say, Doreen, if you forget this information or don't know where to find it, if you call or come to the village hall, we all have her contact information. I can help you.
I'm sure I could look it up online.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
all over.
All right, thanks, Doreen, good luck.
Okay,
All right,
should I go?
you can, if you want to stay, you're welcome, but your issues are you're all through, yes. And thank you for coming.
Okay,
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck to you.
Good luck.
thank you.
Number 2, discussion and possible action on repairs to the Rock Lake Boat Launch and citizen request to apply for a DNR grant to assist with funding. Ms. Roper.
Yes, my name's Kim Roper. I live at 1248 250th Avenue, Treator, Wisconsin. I must disclose I'm a member of the Salem Park Committee. And I also want you all to understand, I am not a member of the association on my lake. I am coming to you as a citizen, a lake owner, and a member of the community. When I moved here 28 years ago, the Rock Lake Coyote Boat Launch was known as the fire lane for the fire trucks to come in. And then they put in the dry well. They have the town has leased this for Rock Lake Coyote Association since I've been there and way before. And their job was to mow the lawn and keep the boats off the west side of the plat so that the fire trucks could get in if they needed some. And Rock Lake Coyotes has done a great job of doing that. Unfortunately, Mother Nature has destroyed the boat launch. Nothing has been done since I've been there in 29 years. It is not safe. This is the time that the town needs to put a little effort, a little grading, a little gravel, repair this. This is the only boat launch on Rock Lake, period. We used to have a boat launch over at Dooley's, but Dooley's no longer exists. So the only access any of the boat owners have is this launch. As you saw by the pictures I gave you, my kayak is only 22 inches wide, just to let you know. That little, where you saw the ruler, that's a 22-inch drop off where a trailer, car, or boat can get destroyed. All right, so this is the time, why we're in a drought. This is the time to apply for this permit. I talked to Luke at the DNR, who's in charge of boat launches for our area. Luke said, if you guys made the application for a gravel boat launch, it would be $303. $603 for concrete. I'm not informing you. I'm going for both gravel at this point. So your permit, if you apply for that permit tomorrow at a tune of $303, that permit is good forever. So say 5 years from now, 10 years down the road, we come and say, hey, we need a new load of gravel dumped up there and spread. You never have to go back to the DNR and get another permit. The permit is good forever, according to Luke. Now, Luke also told me that if you apply tomorrow, the clock starts ticking in a 30-day time period. It will then go in front of their board, which they've already had a discussion about this issue. And they have 30 days to review it, and then they turn it back over to Luke. If you apply tomorrow and you start that clock ticking, Luke they also allow Luke to take 30 days to get around to answer that. Luke promised me that if I personally called him and told him the 30 days are up, he'd be more than happy to be out the next day and get this rolling to take advantage of the dry water, low level of water. We also have some boats and a harvester on our lake that can't get off. Everybody's been trying to get the boats out. I got mine out 2 weeks ago with the help of my neighbor through his yard. And our neighbors have been helping neighbors get the boats out because the boat launch is a mess. So what I'm coming to you is, and I do know that as a park board member, that we have plenty of money in the park board account to take care of this little project. I do know it have to be bidded. I happen to know 2 excavators could be there tomorrow to give you bids, if you guys do what you wanted to do. So there are people, as Mike said at the park board meeting the other night, the excavators, because of all the lovely warm weather they've had this year, they're finishing their projects early. Plenty of them are looking for work right now. Winter's coming. I think we should be smart and take advantage of this drought and repair that boat launch. Thank you.
So what you're asking from the board is just permission to apply for the DNR grant.
You guys to apply for the DNR permit? Yes,
Okay,
because you're the property owner.
okay.
Any questions about the pictures you saw or the DNR paperwork I gave you that they sent me?
Well, I think before we get too far, Mr. Faber said, so if we're gonna do this, to apply for a grant, you pay for it up front, and then you turn around and then you get a grant for it.
That's correct, but I think what she's driving at, this would be relatively inexpensive.
Correct.
Otherwise, if you go through the recreational boating grants and at the Wisconsin Waterway Commission, And they do fund up to 50%. And, if we really want to do it fancy, you could spend $15,000, $20,000, get half of it back, have a couple of parking spots. One requirement they do mandate, though, is that you charge for launching a vote. If they put their money in, as they do ask. But I think what you've just explained is a couple of loads of gravel, if that's the route we want to go.
And I agree. I think that, I think what has to happen is now we will be spending park money, we'll be spending tax dollars. So then that park would have to get, the chain, the signs, all that would have to come down. And so right now, even though it's open, I know the Rock Lake Highlands Association stores their boats there. On the shore, they think that they charge.
They charge, I think, $45 a year for their association dues. And then out of that, they have the right to keep some of the small boats like rowboats, et cetera, down on the west side of the lot so that we're not in the fire lane. And as Ron can attest to today, he was out there and I stopped and he was there. They do a fine job in keeping the boats off the side, neatly organized, and they all have a sticker on it so that the Rock Lake Highlands people do track those boats to make sure that they haven't been left by somebody who's passed away or moved on. And so they do a good job at maintaining it. They have the stickers there so they can track the boats. And it's always been neat and tidy and well maintained.
But if we use taxpayers' money to fund a permit, any improvements, and, we're saying now it has to be open to the public.
Right.
Are we going to have people coming in here in 6 months saying this is private?
The only response that I got that was negative was one party said, well, oh no, people from all over are gonna come and load their boats into Rock Lake and we're gonna have constant traffic. Seriously, if you have a boat, my boat was 13.5. If you have a boat that has a horsepower engine on it, or even a trolling motor, are you gonna go to Camp Lake,
Right.
a nice cement boat launch, Silver Lake, and they have parking? Or are you gonna come to Little Rock Lake and it takes you 10 minutes to go around?
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but what I don't want is we use public funds, with the understanding that this has to be a public access. And then 6 months later, there's 50 angry Rock Lake people saying that we shouldn't have public access here and. No, I know.
Just get ready to say it, the number I was going to use, I've received 5 or 6 calls a day, absolutely dead set against doing anything. Number one, that's never, ever been a boat launch.
Well, it's been, it's
It's
one.
always been a fire lake.
So this is.
No different than someone Camp Lake or, they're really, the one by Diane's house in Hooper Lake. It's not a boat launch.
Right.
It's a fire lake. It's what everybody uses it for.
Right.
But, it doesn't get, we don't upkeep it. We don't, do a lot there.
Right.
And again, I know that, yes, it's $300 and some for the permit.
Right.
We can fast track the permit. But our bidding process and specification, we're gonna have a couple $1,000 worth of engineering from Murray Smith to come out to design this. And it's nothing that's gonna happen in the next month. I mean, this is, our bidding process will take 60 days.
Will that be park district funds then? Or would that be?
If
General
you
funds.
guys are willing to do some of this work, I agree that, but then, like I say, that part, we will remove that from basically the Rock Lake Highlands Association lease.
Right.
But then, obviously the people are gonna park on the grass there, but it is gonna open it up to outside people to come in there and launch their boat. It is a slow, no wait.
The situation, you're absolutely right. The state is in favor of the kayak and canoe and,
Non-motor.
non-motorized vehicles. But if you had 2 parking spots is all you need is 2
I
parking
was gonna ask
spots.
you, I don't know what it is.
And then you qualify for the DNR would stock fish.
Right.
You can talk to them about that. And they used to put trout in there many years ago.
As the DNR said, they cannot do it right now because of the condition of the boat.
That's correct.
Yep.
Absolutely. I did hear that they can't launch their boat to stop the lake.
That's right.
Again, I'm not sure.
I mean, so there's
I
quite
was
a
by
few
there the last
benefits.
couple of days, but I've received several phone calls and I can tell you that someone, if Dennis, you wanted to go over there today and launch your boat, you don't have a key to that chain that's across the gate.
Right.
That's.
It's not locked. It's
But
not
it is,
locked.
the village of Salem makes property though.
That is correct.
Mhm.
And it's leased to the Highland Association
Mhm.
for what, $1 a year or whatever?
100.
But they do mow and maintain. We have-
So
and they do a very good job.
if we were to take that back over, in other words, the association, their lease is null and void.
We would cancel on that portion and make that the official boat launch on Hooker Lake. We would bring it up to a standard, whatever the DNR told us it was.
Rock Lake.
Gravel,
Yeah.
concrete. You know, when we would do that, we would build a spec. We'd bid it out.
And
And put it
as
on.
Mr. Faber said, put 2 or 3 parking spaces in there, okay? And everything would fly.
I believe that would be, that's one way to do
Yeah, the deadline for this grant process, there are 3 different times that you have to submit your paperwork, June 1st, November 1st, and February 1st. Now, they're doing their budget, the state is,
it. Oh, for the grant.
and
process.
the grant process, right. And as I mentioned, I've got a list of a variety of
Just for-
different municipalities that have gotten a couple $100,000. Here's one for 164,000 is what was paid by the Wisconsin Waterways Commission. And 169,000 was paid by the Calumet County for some work that they did with access and a new boat landing and some things of that nature. But so that wasn't quite a 50-50 split, but they do a couple $1,000s. Here's one for $2,900 that the state paid. And then the municipality, the city of La Crosse paid $2,900. So that was a
So I
cost.
believe
share.
ultimately, really, there's three choices here. One is because if the way it is now, it would only benefit the few that launch a boat in and out, that live on the lake, whatever, bring their boat in and out. That we, as the owner of the property, would apply for permit, but would have to enter into an agreement that they pay those costs. And I can tell you that the cost of engineering it and putting it in is expensive. 2, we open it up, we do a gravel launch, just do some updates, try to, I'll have Ari Smith write up something for a couple of parking spots, if 2's all that's needed. And then we remove that from the lease, make that a public launch, just like it is on all the other lakes. That would probably, I don't even know, I won't even give you an estimate, I can get that for you in the next couple of days. Or 3, go for an all-out DNR grant and redo the whole. Because it is really just a lot within the subdivision.
Mhm.
And I know I receive calls a day concerned about the amount of traffic that will be brought into the neighborhood of people going to that launch. We've been, one gentleman was all for it, was supportive of it, and I think I've got a few emails and several phone calls that were just dead set against doing anything. Everybody else let me know that that was never a boat launch, it's a fireway.
Yeah, but I most certainly can appreciate if someone that's been able to take advantage of this, use it as their own, they're not going to like the fact that other people are going to have access to the lake.
We've had that in
By our
other
Wisconsin
lakes.
Constitution, the lakes
Federal
are
law was like that.
free for everyone.
Yeah, in order to do it, we're gonna have to do it in that manner, and I think that we should take care of it myself, but Mike,
I'd like to make a motion that we go into project number 3, Mike's outlined here with contacting DNR, getting a grant and do it right, and do it once and do it right, but then install the prescribed parking spots for it to do it. I've thought for years that it's silly that people that live in the subdivision even or around anywhere that can't access that lake. Actually, I used to live on that lake and I was told one time I couldn't swim over there. So I think we go plan number 3.
did you get that, Shannon?
So the motion is to
Apply for a
proceed with
DNR.
applying for a DNR grant and make it a public launch.
Do it and do it right.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
I got a question though. So the fire lane's not part of the lease.
It is part of the lease.
It is. It's actually the whole lease.
So actually, they have 2 properties, they have 2 parcels, they have the beach area,
And then run your,
and then they have this area. So
If I understand your motion, now this is just the investigation process to find out what this cost is going to be or get some ideas and.
My motion, I'll make it clear, my motion is to apply for the DNR grant, get the funds and do a proper boat launch with prescribed parking spots and whatever it's gonna take for DNR, make the DNR happy, but get the grant for DNR, whatever it's gonna take.
But is this gonna involve a collection box and the whole shop or?
Yes.
Yeah,
you know,
the DNR,
so-
I can,
It's not as bad as it sounds, guys.
But I mean, shouldn't we get the permits going first and look at options once you get the permits? Or do we go? Do we
I
go
like that,
all in
the
now?
option number 2, is where we just do it, okay? Then apply for the grant. Or whatever we gotta do, but this can't be that costly to fix it, what actually is existing there.
But just for point of clarification, Dennis, you're our water guru. If we go ahead and do this, then we can go back and get the grant.
oh, definitely.
Oh, all right, then I rescind my motion.
And I will my second. Yeah, I think that would be a better way to proceed. Just get it fixed up now inexpensively with this, you know.
But Rich, are we creating a legal problem? Because basically if that property is leased out, I mean, are we able to just walk in and say, we'll improve it, but it's going to be open to the public now?
Language, two things on the lease. It has a limited term. I think it's annual. So it's just a matter of not renewing if that's the issue. But two, the specific language in the lease that says, just because it's leased to the association doesn't mean that the public can't use the property.
Gotcha.
So,
And really, it's just the way it looks. If you drive by there, you wouldn't know, like I said, the chain across it and the split rail, you wouldn't know that is open somewhere where you could
Right.
pull your car down, or you can't drive down there, but drag your canoe down and launch a boat. I mean, that's just the way it looks now. And obviously, we're gonna spend tax, we haven't spent tax dollars on that parcel. So it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. But now that we're gonna expel some tax dollars, obviously the chain, the signage, a lot of that will have to be.
We need to take care of it. Dan has a comment or a question?
Yeah, I've got a couple of comments I want to open up to the board. Number one, has this gone to the Parks Commission?
It has not.
Well, I would think that going to the Parks Commission would be one of the first steps because that's the funding that's going to come from their area.
As a park commissioner, I brought this to the park board and several times. And we have one member, I'm not gonna name names, who somehow magically automatically reverses the conversation. Somehow it never goes to a vote on the park board. So I've already tried as a park commissioner to go to the park board. So now I'm just coming to you as a citizen and a member of the community.
Well,
I will also attest to that, being a liaison to the Parks Board.
it's,
Okay, Dan, what's the other question?
I don't, before I go to that next question, I mean, this is the process that we have. It's got to go to the Parks Commission. And if it's not been brought up, then, we need to find out why it hasn't been doing that. I mean, this is not the first time this has been discussed. Now, the other one I wanted to ask of is the funding coming from the Parks Board? Now, if it's not coming from the Parks Board, they're approving it. And can we approve it through this board without having a process going?
So you have the ultimate authority of approving anything in parks. The Parks Commission is only
Advisory.
Advisory to the board. The money in the parks account is, for lack of a better term, yours to spend, when you see fit.
I know we have to be the final approval, but in the process, do they have to be brought up to them and do a vote on it?
no, I don't think so. Obviously, to the extent that you can get a recommendation from the park commission, I think that makes sense to do that.
Mhm.
But I don't think there's any legal obligation, legal requirement. Certainly, if you expend village funds other than from the park fund, then obviously there's no involved in the park. It still isn't, it's probably a good idea to get a recommendation. But
Now, I'm not that familiar with the Rock Lake shoreline. Is this the best place to invest in a boat launch?
I believe it is.
It's practically the only place.
The three current properties that we own, the village owns. I do not believe Rock or Wilson Runyard Park is, it's a carrying access, it's a pretty steep hill, a lot of tough terrain. I think that'd be hard to put in a launch. Obviously, the beach area, that's part of the Rock Lake lease. It is what it is. It's a beach and play area, and it's used heavily. A lot of people use it. This would be, in my opinion, is the best spot on Rock Lake for some sort of launch.
Okay, and one final question, and maybe Trustee Faber could answer this question is, we're talking about 2 parking spots. What's the size of those parking spots? Do they have to accommodate also a trailer along with the vehicle?
Yes.
So it's going to be, let's say, a double long, double wide. Basement,
Lengthwise, you're right.
right?
And if we were to have a third one that would just accommodate a vehicle without a trailer, the DNR is currently favorably looking at those because so many people are into kayaking and canoeing and as popular as that is.
I just don't want us to get into a position where we've seen this sort of at Silver Lake, is where someone will put a trailer and take off, use their vehicle, something else to do. So now we've got parked trailers. And that's not the whole idea behind it. It's to allow people to have access to the lake in and out so that they can do their own. But if someone just parks a trailer there and squatters' rights, I mean, that's reminiscent of what they do in Chicago to save their parking spot in the winter.
But the trailer incident is on a street where that is no parking. There's nobody parking where that fire lane is at. They're going across the road and they're parking on the street there. But again, if somebody were to leave a trailer there, we would have, our sheriff's department could ticket it, can't be there.
They can ticket it, but they can't tow it.
All right, Bill, what did you have?
So if we do improve this and you're gonna have 2 spots, does that mean one of the 2 spots is gonna be a handicap?
I would think, yes. I don't know the answer.
So then in essence, we're only gonna have 1 parking spot.
Well, here again, I mean, this is all gonna go through engineering and all that. I mean, if we can get 4 parking spots in there, the more the merrier.
So basically, it does take, if we're looking currently right now, just to improve the launch, to get us through, let's say, the fall, we're never gonna get it done this fall. It's just not gonna happen. So we would do some improvements in the spring, maybe by the time we get it through, it'll be, I agree with her. I think it'll be a short, sweet, but the engineering will be heavy. And the contractors, we're gonna get some bids on it. They're not gonna be cheap. I mean, that's just the hourly wage that contractors are getting. They're not gonna run their excavators for nothing. So, and they have a lot of rules when they're dealing with the DNR permit. And everyone's aware, they're pretty strict on what they do. They're watching, especially when it comes to rock.
All right, so-
There'll be a lot of eyes.
Open it up for a new motion.
I'll make a motion. We go to the option of go ahead and improving this with a gravel approach,
Mhm.
2 or 3 parking spaces.
Well, if I could ask, not to interrupt you, I'm sorry, Ron, before you finish your motion. If we're improving the launch to allow some in and out access for the next year or so, we could use it simply as like the y'all's little boat launch where they just park in the grass.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
But then the upgrades to a permanent boat launch would be in our grant. They would install the parking spots.
Okay.
It'd be pretty hard for us to go in there. We'd have to rip up that whole lot to put in gravel and stone to put in these parking spots.
Okay.
So we'll do it if that's what you ask us to do.
Basically, all I'm looking for is just a gravel, the gravel into the lake itself, so they can at least back a trailer in there if they have to.
And I believe that's.
Okay. And eliminate the parking spots for right now.
Or just pull off to the side and park. Just
Yep,
make the
I mean,
gravel.
there's plenty, I was there, and there's plenty of space for
Correct.
numerous parking spots.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
And Kulat second. Any other questions on this? Any questions on the motion?
Yes, I do. It is, I mean, there's a lot of engineering work that needs to be done on this in my mind, and even though just putting in some gravel, because right now there are aquatic vehicles there. I mean, we call them kayaks or rowboats or whatever. What is going to happen with them? If we no longer have to lease with an association, then there's no ability that I see that we should give any rights to people to park their boat there. They'll have to leave. They'll have to be either docked at their property if it's on the lake, or they have to be removed at the end of the day. Okay.
I go along with it, Dan, and I think none of this is gonna happen until next year. The lease will be over by then, so we can.
And I'm sorry, Mike, not to interrupt you. We're gonna start the process, but I do believe that in the next coming months, you're going to hear a lot of goods and bads of support and against. And we can always, the engineering expense, we've already started for the gravel, because obviously we have to have that for the permit. So we'll start that, but you tell us at a different time you want us to change direction, we'll start the process and let things start to unfold.
But I guess the biggest thing would be the permits, applications, and fill that out and go from there.
Once you guys have the permit, it's good forever. You never have to reapply for it according to the DNR.
And is this gonna,
And we're down
is,
to gravel, get the permit.
is this gonna come out of the park fund,
Yes. I think it's a permit.
correct?
I will assure you that it will come out.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, I have a question then about the lease. I am on the board for the Rock Island Association. I'm just listening. So if the lease is canceled or if the people who have their boats there have to remove their boats, at what point in time will we be notified that that's what everybody has?
It'd be a long process. I mean, it'll be, probably, I would think the board would probably allow you to maybe the end of next year or something, but, next voting season, or I'm sure that they.
I think by-
There's a lot of votes.
I think by the spring.
There's gotta be at least 20 boats there.
Really? So you think they leave them all season, all winter?
Well, they're all flipped over and I bet they're,
We just eliminated, we just called out all the boats that were not accounted for. We had notified, we had it in the news, you have to come and get your boats if they're not, stickered. And we sold them off or we auctioned them off at the picnic a couple of weeks ago. So there's just people who are actively using their boats.
I think as soon as we start, then we could let you know and then you could notify them. That's my opinion. I think in the spring would be ample. I mean, if I lived on a lake, I mean, it would be nice if somebody stored my boat, but jeepers, store your own boat on your own property. I'm sorry.
Well, I had a boat there and somebody took it.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Shannon?
I need some clarification on this motion. I'm getting.
Okay, Ron?
basically just to apply for the grants. Or no, apply for the permit.
Okay.
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 Gravel, put gravel in there, have its bids let out for gravel. Okay, and that would be the extent of it right there,
And repair with.
right? And also cancel a lease with the Highlands Association.
Yep, we'll work on that.
gravel.
I just think that I don't think we need to cancel the lease. What we do is we let it run out. It'll be up in January and we're not doing anything until then. So let the lease run out. I don't think we should cancel it.
All right,
We'll let the lease expire and then we'll negotiate over just the beach area or however, whatever the board would decide.
well, here again, the beach area, now that's a whole different entity there. But I mean, do we still let them lease that?
That would be.
Well, till the lease is
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
And they basically maintain that then, don't they?
And they do a very nice job at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some emails that didn't even pertain to this particular thing. They were talking about another site on your lake and I'm like, okay. All right, so, all right, Shannon, you clear? And it was seconded by Kulat. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. All right, thank you. Number 3, discussion and possible action on resolution 2021.09-46, a resolution requesting exemption from Kenosha County Library tax for the 2022 budget. For Salem Lakes, this is something we do every year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Hopkins and seconded by Mr. Campion. Questions on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Number 4, discussion and possible action on changing the hours of trick or treat. What happened? They want less hours?
It was brought up by,
Us last year too.
and you guys, yes, some of you. It used to be 4 to 7, and then it was extended to 8, and then like not a lot of little kids or whatever, when it's dark and late. And so
I would,
it was suggested to possibly reducing it back to 4 to 7.
and I would be very much in favor of that. I think that it's honestly, if some of these subdivisions that, they're buying $50, $60 worth of candy. Somebody like me who has a longer driveway and I have houses, I get by with one bag, but
But I mean, why change it though? Because people still want to stay out till 8. Why not let them stay? I mean, if they bring at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, if I'm still up, I will give
I
kids.
run out of candy, I turn the lights off.
I know, and they do. If the light's not on, they're not even supposed to
I just-
approach.
I mean, you could quit at 7 if you want, but why, if you want to go to 8, why stop?
Yeah, nobody goes to yours either hardly.
Good
And,
point. I agree with that.
oh, I like it 4 to 7.
By the bus loads in my neighborhood.
Oh, I bet.
So right now it's 4 to 8, 4 to
It's
8.
4 to 8. I am in favor of 4 to 7. I totally am in favor of it, but if you're not willing to change it, is anyone willing to change it or keep it? What's the motion?
I'll make a motion, keep it the same.
Is there a second?
We don't need a motion.
Ted.
We don't know.
We don't need a motion.
Okay, we don't need to, you're correct.
Changing it.
We'd let it die.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of it, but that's okay. Everybody else is, all right.
At 7, Diane.
It's not even me. I've heard people,
Then they can stop at 7.
and they can.
You said you only have one bag of candy. What's the big
Not
deal?
making my wife.
I'm not complaining about it.
Just now.
What's that?
Making my wife happy.
That's your job.
Okay, Public Works, number 1, discussion and possible action on payment request number 23 by CD Construction, Smith's Construction. $381,488.79 for the wastewater treatment plant regionalization improvements.
Motion approved, second.
I didn't get it. Who was it? Hopkins?
Uncle Bill.
Hopkins and Mike, Hopkins and Kulat. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, discussion and possible action on the final payment request by Payne and Dolan, number 6, an amount of $5,000.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Favor and Kulat. Questions on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Clerk's office, number 1, approval of applications filed with the clerk for operators licenses. Well, let's see how we want to do this.
I would make a motion to approve all except Christina H. Cram. I may be mispronouncing that.
You're right.
And
Brenda Muir,
Brenda, what is it?
Muir.
Muir, yes.
Everybody understand that? Why and everything? You read your email? Okay. The motion is to approve all the licenses with the exception of Christine Cram and Brenda Muir. All in favor? I mean, oh, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Gant and, okay, so it's Hopkins and Gant. All in favor?
Aye.
I have to abstain on this one.
Okay. Opposed? 1 abstention. All right, motion still carries. Number 2, discussion of the scheduling the dates for the 22 budget discussion workshops.
We're not going to have any vote regarding the 2 that was excluded.
We just excluded and not going to give them a license. We approved all the others but the 2
Madam President, I think you probably should have something in your record
that we,
on those, and if you decide after further discussion to grant them, obviously, that would be the motion.
Okay.
Or after further discussion.
So I'll make,
decided that there
Good
was-
call, Dan.
Qualified, then you could have that in your record.
I'll amend my motion to approve all but the Christina Cram and Brenda Muir, who I will
Should we just?
motion to,
We've got a motion on these. Let's do
To
that. and do
approve.
the others.
Why don't we
Already
just,
approved the 1
yeah,
motion.
so then I make a motion to reject the operator licenses for Christina Cram and Brenda Muir.
okay, is there a second?
I'll
Mr. Gant?
second that as well.
Okay,
And-
got that?
and President, I think just to make the record complete, I think that Mr. Hopkins, tell me, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the basis for that would be the result of the criminal background check information, is that correct?
It's the fact that they marked no on the application and the background checks came back.
And mine would be because of the background check and the charges against them, so. But if that's what we could put that in there.
As long as you, if somebody has to look at our record later, they know that you all have a reason for the decision you made, which was the information that you've been provided with regard to the background check and the application.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. And that was seconded, correct?
Yes.
So All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
Opposed? And,
Abstain.
okay, no opposed, but one abstention.
Thank you, Rich.
All right, number two, for the budget workshops dates. Do you guys got a calendar?
Yep.
What's the first one we want to do here?
I'm gonna say I'm good with all of them myself, so.
So we're gonna work the budget workshops with the cow or before or after the cows?
You could do it after or before. Depends on how many other people come.
Shannon, do we talk?
What, do they have a one scheduled already? I don't have my,
27th of September is the
They're
first.
all
one.
scheduled.
Well,
4th of October.
this is just tentative. I'm showing you guys a visual calendar.
Oh, okay,
so you
I'm
just
sorry.
see. Nothing is scheduled. Chris and I did not do anything yet. This was just for you guys to have a visual for this evening. So we were saying 5 o'clock possibly. I know we've done that in the past.
yes,
Okay, I will be late to all of them for a 5 o'clock start.
what's the closest you can come?
I'm pushing it now, leaving the schools at
For
5:30 to get here by 6.
Okay,
So, and I'm not asking you guys to wait or anything like that. I'm just simply saying I'll be late.
well, I want you there. We
Yeah,
can, we
There's no
can,
time, but we didn't, I mean, that's for you guys to decide.
Yeah,
This was just a visual.
The 4th, I'm out of town. I'm actually out of town that whole weekend.
so the first one, okay, for Monday, the 27th. 6 o'clock. Are we good with that one?
Yes.
Yes, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, next one. When's the next one? I don't have my computer.
4th of October.
It's the next.
Oh, my God.
That's the same as the committee for whole meeting.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gone that day. I'm out of town that whole weekend.
The Monday you're gone still?
Yeah, I'm still,
When do you come back?
not till Tuesday. The 5th.
Tuesday, what would that be, the 5th?
Well, the Monday, the 6th is our comedy. Which Monday you out, Ted?
I'm out on the 4th,
Okay,
that Monday.
okay. That's our call. I guess we missed that.
And we're still having the cow. All right, we can do that one because we do have the committee of the whole. Let's keep that one then. Is that all right?
We start at 6 and I'll do a budget workshop, how following budget workshop.
Yep.
Good.
Good.
Okay, so the 4th.
Yeah, just guys know I'll miss that one.
Huh?
I'll miss that one.
Yeah.
Because I won't be here.
If you're available, you can phone in, Ted, if it's feasible.
You guys can save some money.
Yeah, and no, honestly, if you have any comments, because we're going to meet the 27th and you can make comments on that one towards the next one. Why don't, is there another one scheduled?
The 18th
18th.
to the 25th.
18th and the 25th. Okay, 18th.
These are gonna be at 6 o'clock then?
We needed, but we won't
Yep.
extend that.
Yeah, usually we're good at 3 of them, but
Tentative, yeah.
yep. How about, okay, well, how about Monday, October 18th? All right, we're good with that one, 6 o'clock. So we got the 27th, the 4th is our COW, and then the 18th. And if we need anything after that, we'll schedule it.
Okay, so the 18th, so the 4th and the 18th, right?
And the 27th of September.
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
So we're coming back for October 25th, or are you tentatively doing that now? Usually it's only 3, right?
yeah, it usually, we can probably do it in
Okay.
3.
So then that would put the budget hearing on the 15th of November. Because then we have the actual hearing that we have to do.
And that would be in the time frame, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, Chris and I got everything. Yep.
We work backwards.
Yeah.
Right.
Start from that date and then.
Okay,
So then it would be November 15th.
okay.
I think the calendar looks good, Shannon. Thank you.
I like visuals. That's,
Yeah, me too.
November 15th, you said was the hearing?
yes.
Good. I didn't even see that, actually. I broke it. I fell again. Yeah, I had the computer in my hand. It went up in the air.
I'm not gonna say anything because we're on tape.
Yeah. All right, good. Number 3. Approval of the Salem Lakes volunteer application form.
This is, I think you have it, this is something that the Parks Commission worked on. Ron, right, speak to it better than anyone, but they went to a company I forget what, I think it was through the National Park Society or whatever.
Yeah.
And just reviewed it, and he said, no, we're not, it was really detailed for a volunteer, and some of the information we just don't have the right to know. So Richard said we really didn't recommend that one, but then he went back to just a simple one you have for you.
I like it. I would make-
And I'll second it.
So how is this gonna differ than the one we have today for all the different committees and assignments that we
We
have?
don't have a volunteer application.
I thought we did.
What proposed was we approved it.
Not
We never
for,
approved it.
not for volunteer,
Mm-mm.
for applying for commission members.
Okay, that's what I'm confused with. Thank you.
Yeah, there's applications for commissions and work boards, but not an actual volunteer.
And the purpose? What's the purpose?
Well,
Yeah, just so you know who's around kids, and, you know, who's involved, because if somebody comes in now and, you know, say, my name is Mike and I'd like to volunteer to help out at pumpkin days or.
Yeah,
I got work for you.
then we go sign here and give me all your kids. Yes.
Here's where you sign, and then we're gonna run a background check.
Okay.
Similar to what she does, and then, you know. if there's
Diane, you
something
can
out
take
there
my
that
4.
They shouldn't be around. Adults or
I'll take the
children.
little one that was on the,
No,
okay.
Should we add something to this volunteer document informing the applicant that we are going to be doing background checks?
It's there,
it is on there
second page,
at the very end, isn't it?
second page.
The one that I originally did.
At the very end, I think it says that,
Your office use,
but doesn't it say the background check?
but, you know, when you look at the office use paragraph, you don't go any further than that.
and who,
Well, I thought it said background.
We have to
check,
sign
right?
It
it.
just says background.
It
At the
says release of
very
liability.
last line, it says background check completed on. But it's under the paragraph, it says for office use only.
so what you're saying is there's nothing in the language of the information that basically tells the applicant that we're gonna do a background check.
Right.
Well, it's on the application. It's only under.
Office use.
We can add that right by the signature line.
There you go.
It just
I have a-
says-
You have a whole form like an authorization form for a
Yeah,
background
we
check.
can
We
take
could add to
So if you
it.
want to add that, or whoever, if you're gonna make the motion, just add, you know.
So, Mike, I know you started that.
I
Did you want to?
thought I had read that.
I didn't-
I know you approved it, but
I mean, it is, but it's.
With that exception?
So the wording is there.
Okay.
I mean, when I read it, I remembered it.
So Kula made the motion, guys, and I know Faber seconded, and he wanted to allot for that writing in there about
So now if we're having
disclosure.
discussion, I believe there is a cost of,
It's, we charge $10 for background. check.
We're not charging a volunteer.
No, so. and
I just want to let you know if all of a sudden, you know, 30 and 20, I hope they do.
Yeah, me too.
Don't want to volunteer.
They won't.
You know,
We
do
got an
things.
email today.
Why don't we just waive
Well,
the,
maybe this is the one that we go through CCAP.
These things we have to pay.
yeah, I agree.
Anything through CCAP.
Yeah, we're gonna just do it just like we do with the.
Shannon?
license.
Right.
You got the motion?
Otherwise, we
Take it out of your
With-
line item budget.
We're going to approve as written with the
With an
disclosure.
addition of the disclosure, yep.
Yes,
Thank you.
and it was seconded by Faber. Any other questions?
So do these people still have to pay the background? fee?
No.
We're not paying.
Okay, good.
Comes out Mike's budget.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 4, we're going to postpone it until we meet again. That wasn't finished. Number 5, of vouchers, $1,288,568.06.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Faber and Campion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Future items, fire commissions on the 20th. Hooker Lake, anybody wants to come? I know Carol, Hooker Lake annual meeting is this Thursday, the 16th at 7 o'clock. And then we have all the other goodies here.
Future agenda items for next Monday committee. We're gonna do it today of the whole.
I was just gonna ask, I was looking at my calendar, just gonna say quick.
You know, if we are, village staff and Rich, we've been working pretty hard. One of the things we're struggling with all these buildings in Salem, like commercial buildings that are getting changed. Changing renters, changing, use. One of the things that's been worked on probably for the last 7, 8, 9 years has been a business license. You know, it's not about the funds to get the business license, but if there's a change of use or you move in or out, you know, basically it tells us what's going on. So in order to run a business in Salem, you have to have a business license. in our discussions with all staff, and I think everyone's been involved in some regard, but, there's a lot of what ifs and could have been. There's people that's been operating businesses for a very long time. So we'd like to have a committee of the whole, but I think that will take most of our evening because there's a lot of things we're going to need to discuss about this business license.
Well-
It's very, very good for the village in order for us to be able to do that. Most people have them. We just never have.
Well, let's do it. If it's needed, let's do it. That's what we're here for.
But I believe it will take quite a bit of our time because one thing that we've done as a group
Let's do it.
is we tried to cover all the what ifs, So we don't want to surprise you and just say, oh, business license for all of us, and then all of a sudden next week, something pop out. So we're trying to cover all the bases. It'll take a while to explain it, because I think everybody has some say, and I know Chief LaCar, Brad, Shannon, Chris, David, we've all been going back and forth with this, so.
Hey, could I ask, could you send us a draft of your notes? Just if we could-
I'm gonna send you a draft and a whole detail of what our plan is for us to talk about.
Good, thank you. That'd make it easier.
All right, we're keeping it for the 20th at 6 o'clock.
You're looking to talk about that next week.
Yes.
Okay, 9:20.
6 o'clock? Yeah,
I just wanted to give a heads up too for future agenda items that redistricting is going on for elections right now, and we might need to throw in specials here and there because right now the county is voting on Wednesday on the supervisory districts, and then it'll come to the municipalities to work on their districting. So then you guys have to approve that.
okay.
So we may need a special
Well, we have,
now in October.
we have 5 meetings and then, actually 6 meetings from now until November 15th.
And I was
Figure it-
thinking like if we did that to like
We can add,
on a budget workshop.
and we will, and we will.
Yeah. I'll try.
Anybody else for future items? Sorry, jumped into up scheduled meetings. Nothing else? Okay, with that, then a motion to move into closed session
So
pursuant to the section 19.85 parentheses 1 parentheses E. Kulat
Second.
and Hopkins. Campion,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Kulat,
I
Faber.
Yep.
Kmek
Yes.
and Gant.
Yep.
We are now in closed
He is
go ahead, Mike.
Did you wanna?
To adjourn?
So moved.
Adjourn.
Campion? Come on, Gant.
Okay.
All right, and Gant. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are now, thank you.